a lot of people now, they realize that the uh, ability to communicate, no, sa isang leader, napaka-importante. We'd like to take it to the next level. So hindi lang tayo talaga nakikipag-communicate dun sa mga kasama natin na gusto natin i-lead, kundi talagang we're able to establish that connection, no? We see things from their perspective, and we're able to also connect with them at a very personal level para magkakasama, no, na umaakyat si leader tsaka si teammate niya, no, or shall we say follower, no. So those are very important qualities na kailangan meron yung leader.
Live again for another episode of HR Shouts and Whispers, episode number 107. And ang topic natin for tonight, be a better and more decisive leader. Siyempre, my name is Ken Somera, and ang main host natin, Cristina Reclamado. Hi, Chris!
Hi, Ken. How are you this Wednesday night?
Siyempre, absent ako last time eh. So, siyempre, ngayon, super present with super energy din, di ba?
Okay, so we actually have this episode because it's a very timely topic because number one, okay, we have a lot of HR friends and also professional friends, okay, who has been asking this question, okay, how do you become a better leader these days, okay, or how can you be a more decisive leader? So we've invited a good friend of ours, okay? He was a sales enabler for more than 20 years, okay? And then now he's focusing on enabling people to maximize their potential through leadership assessment, okay? And he is a certified John Maxwell coach, okay, and a speaker and a trainer. So we have with us Mr. Ryan Fernandez. Hi, Ryan.
Hello, Chris, and hello, Ken. Good evening to you and to all your listeners. Very happy to be here tonight with you guys.
Yes, how are you? Okay, so how have you been? How have you been this week?
Well, this week has been very busy, though. Alam mo, marami talaga tayong mga pinaghahandaan, events, and I'll be happy to tell you about it earlier. And very happy din, no? Kasi I just celebrated my birthday din last Friday, and coming off that medyo quality time with the family. It's nice to be back in the groove, no? Working on all of these things na inaayos natin for leaders and aspiring leaders as well.
So it's a working day, okay? So we just got off from our regular jobs, okay? But anyway, okay, we've been talking about this offline, okay? So leadership.
Right.
So Ken, okay, first of all, from your end, okay, so I think we've been doing some coaching, and what can you say about being a good leader?
Sa akin, ang lawa kasi ng leadership pag pinag-uusapan natin yan eh. There are lots of qualities for being a good leader. Pero siguro, to cite one for me. Someone who's easy to follow. Siguro, yun yung top of mind ko ngayon eh. Someone who's easy to follow.
So for me, kasi leadership, okay, so it can be a lot of things as well. Okay, so people, kasi I came from, before being HR, I was in the advertising industry. Sometimes you're a leader because you're the most technically savvy, okay, you're the most skilled, you may the most diverse experience, you can be a leader. And then in other disciplines, okay, sabi nila, you don't need to be that that immersed in the discipline. You just need to know a little, but you have to be able to influence people according to a certain action or direction. So anyway, how about Ryan? So what is good leadership?
Why don't you upskill in the comforts of your own home? Improve and add more certificates in your resume.
agree with Ken. It's a very wide, I don't know, wide spectrum, no, of how we will define leadership as being good leadership. And you mentioned earlier, Chris, that I came from the financial services industry as a sales enabler, and napakalaking bagay nung leadership dun sa context na yon. Kasi dun sa context na yon, malaking bagay yung volunteers, yung mga teammates, no, that's in the distribution side. And in the corporate setting, of course, there's the more formal relationship of an employee and the manager, no. Ngayon, pinag-aralan talaga namin yung leadership, and we referenced a lot of thought leaders pagdating sa topic of leadership, and I'm very happy that I'm now part of the John Maxwell team, kasi dito sa sa John Maxwell team we try to reduce it to very key principles, no, kasi nga malawak yung konsepto ng leadership, just to make it very actionable, very easy to appreciate, no. Sa John Maxwell team, we espouse values-based, principle-centered servant leadership, no, and we are very keen on enabling leaders to be able to add value to the people around them. And para magawa nila yon, there are three things na very important. Unang-una, kailangan si leader visionary, no. Kapag sinabi natin vision, may kakayahan siya, no, to capture his own vision, diba? Make it very clear, very tangible, and at the same time able to communicate that vision to other people, diba? Pangalawa, after vision will be connection, diba? A lot of people now, they realize that the ability to communicate, no, sa isang leader, napaka-importante. We'd like to take it to the next level, so hindi lang tayo talaga nakikipag-communicate dun sa mga kasama natin na gusto natin i-lead, kundi talagang we're able to establish that connection, no. We see things from their perspective, and we're able to also connect with them at a very personal level, para magkakasama, no, na umaakyat si leader tsaka si teammate niya, no, or shall we say follower, no. So those are very important qualities na kailangan meron yung leader.
Yeah, vision and connection. Kasi yung leader should know where you're going to, diba? Kasi you need to lead the person. Okay.
Correct.
And then you need to be able to communicate that. Okay, so yon. Those are good points. But let's see. Okay, so I collected some myths about good leaders. Okay, so ito. Okay, myth or fact or reality. Okay, so here. So leaders must be the most vocal and most influential in the organization. Is that myth, reality, fact? Oh, what? Yon. What do you think of that statement? So the leader must be the most vocal and most influential in the organization.
That question reminds me of a story, Chris, no? It's just a very quick one, no? There's one time kasi in my former company, there was a leadership training, no? There was a leadership training. And in that training, we were given a 10-minute task, no, to use popsicle sticks to build a house. And sabi ng trainer noon, kailangan yung group ninyo makapagpatayo talaga nung popsicle sticks na house. Siya yung pinaka mataas at pwede siyang tumayo for 10 minutes. Ngayon, each group was composed of halo-halo talaga, no? Different people. May newly hired, may tenured, may old and young, may calm, may aggressive. There were rank and file supervisors. So halo-halo talaga, no? So yung first attempt talagang bagsak, no? Disaster. Yung pangalawang attempt naman, napaka-sturdy na, pero kinulang na ng materials to make it a tall structure, so hindi talaga mananalo. And umabot sa point na isang teammate namin sumilip na, sabi nila sa kabilang table, sabi niya, oh no, the other groups are almost done, tayo wala pa, di ba? And at that point, there was a very quiet, newly hired, fresh grad na rank and file, no? And in a calm voice, sabi niya lang, alam niyo sir, maganda yung unang ginawa. Diba? Kaya lang hindi siya sturdy. And the second one naman, very stable siya. Pero halos naubos na yung mga materials. We couldn't put up a second floor. What if we combine, no? Gawin nating very sturdy, useless sticks and combine, etc. Tapos kino-complement niya yung nagkaroon ng idea to build the popsicle sticks in that way. And as he was doing that, na-realize ng HR trainer when he was processing na siya ng activity. Sabi niya, you know what? There are emerging leaders in this group who are not really the loudest during the discussion, no? Pero ang key doon, siya yung nakakita ng kung ano yung magandang ginawa ng other members ng group, binigyan niya ng compliment at nakita niya kung paano ba natin nagagamit yung magagandang ginawa ng ibang members ng group para makagawa ng magandang resulta. Diba? So it's not the most vocal that will be the best leader, but definitely the person who is able to exert influence in his own way, na siya talaga makakapagpakita or mag-emerge, no, as a very good leader in any setup.
Yes, so influence kasi you need to be able to parang maybe sell an idea, okay, or persuade people into a certain action. So what do you think, Ken?
Sa akin kasi the way I work with people, I could say I'm a leader, pero I'm not in the front lines most of the time. So it's for me, hindi naman sa with my viewpoint, it depends on the situation.
Okay, yeah, it depends on the
Safe
situation.
palagi na sagot ko, no? Situational eh.
No, but I can kasi relate. Alam mo dati, when I was younger, akala ko, kasi alam mo, ang paradigm kasi 'di ba, when you're taught in school, you have to be, you have to rise above the pack. Okay, so you have to be really vocal. You have to be the smartest. Okay, you have to be also marunong kang mag-communicate. So maybe vocal meaning you can share your ideas and you can share your point of view and be able to, persuade people or make them believe in what you're saying. Yun yung paradigm ko. I'm an 80s baby. I'm 70s, 1974, but I'm a Gen X, okay? So, yan yung paradigm ko. And then when I was younger, I thought I had to be I was like really so stressed, okay, when I became a supervisor kasi I thought, okay, I needed to be the aggressive one, okay? But slowly, okay, also by attending a lot of workshops, mga self-help, also reading a lot, hindi pa uso yung mga webinars dati, but reading some self-help books, I realized sometimes you have to step back and then, read the situation, okay? Let somebody let your staff also lead the way. You can compliment them. But to get to the goal, you can do a lot of things, okay? Not just be the one to lead. You can actually have somebody do the leading if it's too technical and you don't really know anything about it. And then, but you can also motivate that person, okay, to lead the group, persuade each other. So you actually can step back or you can be at the forefront. It depends on the situation. Yeah. So for me, I learned leadership by being a leader myself, okay? And we didn't have books, okay? So swerte nung generation ngayon kasi we now have an influx of webinars, okay, and coaches like Ryan.
Well, we're just learning from so many references. No, actually, I agree with you. The word that you used is very appropriate. No, yung influx, everything that you need, it's all on the internet. No, and in fact, not just in the internet. No, it's so easily accessible these days. And kaya sa ngayon talaga the call really is, number one, acknowledging that you do need to keep learning, and number two, acting. No, your ability to execute or implement whatever it is that you learned, kailangan gawin mo na talaga. Hindi na information ang game changer ngayon, di ba?
How about you, Ryan? So first is I want to know more about your story. What actually attracted you to become to actually be a trainer in this field, okay? Like be a leadership trainer.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for asking that. No, Actually, I don't know why, but I've always been, I think the term that people use is like a self-development junkie or a personal development junkie. I've always been drawn to references or materials or topics no, about this. And I do recall at as early as high school, no, I would see in our house a lot of the books that my mom would use kasi my mom was also a sales professional. And alam mo sa sales talaga, sabi nga nila, titindi ang panalangin mo at talagang you will be really compelled to come up with the best version of yourself, no? Kasi sarili mo yung yung ultimately sarili mo talaga yung kalaban mo. So at a very young age, no, I got exposed to books like Who Moved My Cheese or
That's a
Fish.
classic. Oh.
Yeah, diba? Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and how happy I was nung pagdating ko ng college. One of the topics no na inassign sa amin ng aming HR professor was to learn the 7 habits of highly effective people. So for like a semester, we were really pouring ourselves into it. Pagdating lang corporate life, ganun pa rin, no? 7 habits. It's really a classic. Until now, people reference the work of the great, no, Stephen Covey, and it's been a big influence. And ever since that time, I've been just really hungry for it. Now, yung work ko has not always been in training, but I found myself relying on those materials to really try to do a good job in whatever it is that I was doing. And just recently, dumating talaga yung blessing that I was invited by my existing company to move to this role of leader development. And after that, I couldn't stop myself, no?
Yeah.
Just consuming all of this content. And sabi nga ni John Maxwell, we have to be rivers, no? Not reservoir of whatever it is that we learn. We have to make sure that it flows from us to other people. No? Hindi pwedeng manatili lang sa atin whatever it is that we learn. Ganyan.
Oh, yeah.
Pass it on.
Yeah, pass it on. Okay, so actually that's what HR Shouts has been doing. Okay, so we've been doing this advocate activity of having interviews. Okay, and we invite diverse coaches. Okay, and most of the topics that we talk about leaders, especially now during the pandemic. Okay, so for the benefit of our community members. Okay, so you have been always sending your comments or feedback or your stories on PM. So this is the answer to your question. Okay, what to do with your boss? Okay, kasi they've been asking, bakit toxic yung boss ko? So actually, John, for a quick answer,
Ryan,
John, sorry, Ryan, sorry. Okay, what makes a boss toxic?
Alam mo, many different things, no? Many different things. But I would say the number one item here is, I guess, when the boss focuses on the deliverables instead of the people.
Yeah, too task-oriented.
Instead of the capacity to deliver. And ang tendency kasi pagka ganun, after ma-deliver, no, kung ano man yung dineliver ng team, kung naka-focus talaga dun sa goals, ang tendency is to try to see if the output is good enough. Right? And so it creates a toxic na feeling, toxic environment, toxic atmosphere, no? But Chris, what I really like, no, I have a good friend, no, and on one occasion, I think that was 2 or 3 weeks ago, he shared a nice post on Instagram, no, and I really liked it so much. Tapos I saved it. Tapos maya-maya, hinahanap ko siya dun sa saved items ko, nawala na. So yung pala na-hack yung account niya, and I really reached out to him and asked again, no, if I can get a copy of what it was that he posted. Kasi he posted things that people can do para hindi sila maging toxic, no? And I think yung title no post niya was uh, how to be a non-toxic person, no? How to
Ay,
be a
maganda yan.
maganda, di ba? It's just it's just one file. It's just a bullet list, no, of things. And I totally agree. I really loved his post. So I want to thank him. His name is Anshinez, by the way. Sorry, may free plugging and acknowledgement. Anyway, his post was, no, sabi niya, number one, don't make everything an issue. Diba? Kasi there are things talaga that are beyond our control. Would be best for everyone, the leader, the team members, if ang focus talaga mapunta dun sa mga things that we can control. Diba? Para maging less toxic yung environment. Number two, sabi niya, learn to be happy with someone else's success. Diba? Share the spotlight. So it's not always about the leader. It's also about the members of the team. Diba? And third, sabi niya, never use someone else's past against them. Whether it's the recent past or yung matagal ng nakabaon sa puso, no, ng leader na shortcoming ng kanyang team member. The important thing is be forward thinking, di ba? And last, sabi niya, be more thankful. We have to make a conscious effort to look at the bright spots, look for the bright spots, and openly express gratitude for those things, di ba? And I think for those 4 simple steps, the environment in any team will be less toxic.
Kasi yung toxicity, okay, so, well, first is, if you were too task-oriented, okay, and you pressure everyone, and then parang you become, kasi parang, alam mo yun, meron ka ng myopic vision, okay? Nagka-tunnel vision ka na. So you just focus on certain things, okay? And then the energy that you project to your staff, parang natatakot na yung staff mo. So your staff will not move anymore. Parang kasi takot na siyang mapagalitan. So, kasi imagine that you are, in a parang basketball team, diba? Mm-hmm. If people are parang, you have to do this, you have to do that, they won't want to, they don't have the liberty to make diskarte, okay? And then you create that atmosphere na they're not going to try anymore. So lalo pang magiging, failure. Mm-hmm. For me, yun yung, kaya I try to keep the atmosphere light in my team. Pero if you need to be the one to kasi sa team, syempre pag sales ka, diba? Kasi right now, I'm in business development and sales, okay? Kung nahihirapan na yung staff mo, then you have to intercede on his behalf. Kasi nahihirapan na. But you have to let your staff do what he can, okay, to be able to close the account. Doon lang pagka talagang hindi na talaga siya pwede, like the client doesn't want to talk to him anymore, diba? That's one situation. Then you have, being the boss, you have to intercede na. And then you guide na lang, diba? I mean, intercede, do the action, close it, but the succeeding one, diba? Parang tell him how you were able to close that client para matuto siya kung paano mo na-discartehan. So that's how I do it. Kasi sales, diba, hindi natin, yun ka, I actually, when I went into business development, dasal na lang ako ng dasal ngayon.
Totoo, di ba? Magiging madasalin. Lalakas yung pananampalataya talaga natin. But Chris, one other nice approach that sales leaders can take is to give first yung mga, shall I say, bite-sized accounts, no? Dun sa mga people that they're trying to develop to become effective sales professionals. Kasi nga, I think I've forgotten who said this, no? Pero ang sabi nga nila, failure teaches us more than success ever will. Diba? So it's also important for the salespeople to actually go through not just the motions, but also the emotions, no, of what it means to lose a deal, as long as it's not a very very
That
parang
as long as you can afford, the company
you can
can
afford to lose
may
it,
threshold. Okay.
right?
But,
Oh, and again, as long as it's not intentional, no, na
yeah.
i-lose natin siya. Pero we have to be able to let them win and lose on their own account, and then always be there to provide the guidance, no. And of course, if we're saying that we have to make that happen, pumapasok dyan sa usapan yung concept of safety or psychological safety, di ba? Kasi if people don't feel like they belong, that they can make mistakes and learn, they will end up being parang mga order takers, and we don't want that in our team, di ba? It's going to be a very big burden, no, for a leader na magkaroon siya ng mga teammates who will only do what they are told when they are told, di ba? We have to empower our
That's
team members. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was agreeing with you. Okay, so
Mhm.
leaders, actually good leaders empower their team members. Okay, I wouldn't say staff. I actually don't like using the word staff kasi parang there's a like a parang there's a level, di ba? Pero I parang
True.
I
May
would say team.
hindi maganda pakinggan, no?
My staff, ganun.
Yeah.
No, but actually, good leaders actually, parang they try to create a very safe environment. Okay, people can learn. Okay, and learn from their failures.
Right.
Kaya we don't rub in those failures. We just tell them, oh, you learn from your mistake, diba?
True. And you know what? There's also, Chris, no, I learned recently, there's also such a thing as the proper way of, how shall I say this? Parang praising the accomplishments of your team. Di ba? And ang sinasabi dito, kasi,
Praise, yeah, praise.
right, no? Ang formula pala dyan, Chris, is when you praise, praise not the talent, but the character. No? Ibig sabihin, if a person is naturally gifted as a salesperson, no? Syempre, we can expect na maganda yung kanyang sales performance, no? But when you acknowledge him, we normally do this in sales, diba? Whether it's weekly, monthly, or quarterly, talagang palaging may recognition, so we can encourage other people to strive also on their part. And the key is not the gift or not the talent, but the character of the person, no? Na kung tutuusin mo kasi good character or good attitude toward work plus
Mhm.
talent is really a formula for success. But talent, no, without character, nako, medyo delikado tayo
Kind of
dyan. Bitin.
dangerous kasi yon, kasi it can
Right.
be used for bad bad purposes, okay, bad intention, for bad
Correct.
activities, okay.
Mm-mm.
So yun, for me kasi people should be allowed to, well, syempre, we have to cushion the effects of failure. So, yun nga, I agree with what you said talaga, na give them like mga projects, okay, and then build up. Hindi mo siya bibigyan hindi mo siya bibigyan ng high risk na project kaagad. Parang you build up the momentum, okay, and then as the person builds his confidence, and then he becomes savvier, diba? As you
Correct.
expose him to those situations. It's
Correct,
not even in sales, even in other fields, ganun yun.
Even
That's
in
how
life, no?
Oo.
Oh.
So that's your role as a supervisor, okay? You're supposed to build your people, okay? And then they actually can do work, or they can contribute to your productivity kasi they do the work for you.
Right.
But anyway, so I think you prepared something for us this evening. Were you able like about Mhm.
Yeah, so we're talking about being a better leader, being a more decisive leader, right, Chris?
Yes.
Yes. So I just have a few slides, no, that I'd like to share with the group, if that's all right.
Sure.
Yeah. Go ahead. Were you about to say something?
Well, actually, this complements also our episode on line management. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so 2 weeks ago, we had a guest. That's one of our moderators, Spike Conde. And we talked about line managers, okay,
Mm-hmm.
becoming leaders. So this one, okay, it's to complement that episode and support and, how to further your leadership.
Right. Okay. That's great. No. So we're picking up from something that you covered in the past,
Mm.
and yeah. So let me just share my slides. So we're talking about becoming a better leader, a better leader when it comes to making decisions. No, even when. So ito yung some limiting beliefs, no? Even when you think you're new, or even when you think you tend to be on the indecisive side, right?
So yung papalit-palit ng isip. Okay, so
Yeah.
our HR community members have always complained to us, okay, that
Mm-hmm.
they cannot move forward because their bosses are always changing their minds. Okay, so that's why we're focusing on being better and being more decisive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Um, Again, another no topic that I'm sure there will be a lot of thoughts on, no. Yung changing decisions. Sometimes kasi, Chris, no, it's okay to change your mind kesa naman panindigan yung wrong decision. So it's all about it's not about sticking to a decision. It's about something else more important that we will cover here, right? And it will really serve as a very important foundation of the decisions that we make, so that we don't find ourselves in that situation na teka, kailangan ko yatang palitan yung decision ko. Nagkamali ako dun sa decision that I made, no? So first, let's talk about leadership and leadership development, no. People have said, no, one of the most critical factors, no, or one of the most critical processes, or no, one of the most critical processes ng isang company, business, corporate man, or an enterprise, is the leadership process, no. Yung leadership process kasi ito yung parang capturing the vision, clarifying the vision, communicating the vision, influencing people, no, to act on their deliverables in order to deliver the vision. Yun yung parang leadership process, so translating long-term vision into day-to-day actions or day-to-day tasks, diba? So that they all add up into something that will represent yung gusto natin talaga ma-achieve na vision or goal, diba? So that's the leadership process. But there's also a leadership development process that we all go through, no? Whether we're aware of it or not, pero pinagdadaanan talaga natin itong mga stages na to. And of course, si Dr. John Maxwell, no, he's like recognized as a parang one of the most influential people when it comes to the topic of leadership. He has this book, no, that talks about the 5 levels of leadership, no. And I'm happy to share it with you now. The first level of leadership is position, diba? Meaning a lot of us, no, we step into leadership by virtue of an appointment to a position or a promotion, diba? Of course, we do know there are formal and informal leaders, but pag-usapan muna natin to yung sa position, or in other words, yung rights, diba? In this level, no, of leadership, ito yung people follow you because they have to.
Mhm.
Diba? People follow the leader because they have to. Meaning, just to set an extreme example, no, pagkagat ng 5:01 p.m., hindi ko na boss si Mr. So-and-so. Diba? So, hindi ko na siya leader because yun yung lowest level, no, of leadership. We all pass through this, no? And how long a person stays in this level will vary. Diba? Iba-iba. Ang susunod na level na to ng leadership is called permission naman, which is based no longer on rights, but now on relationships. In other words, people follow the leader because they want to, di ba? Now, how can a leader go from position to permission? Ito na masasabi natin. This leader was able to build rapport with the members of his team, di ba? This leader was able to see things from their perspective, and this leader was also able to connect with them, and in so doing was able to um, show the team members his perspective also, 'di ba? So ngayon, people appreciate that, and they want to follow him because of the rapport na establish niya with the members of his team. 'Di ba? But alam natin, no, especially in the corporate world, no, Chris, no, having good relations between supervisor and teammates or manager and teammates, it's not enough. Kasi we need results, right? Yeah, you were saying.
No, yeah, syempre, all these things, okay, they have to contribute to, you have to add up to something, and that's nga yung, performance yung sinasabi nila.
That's right. And that will bring us to the next naman, no, na level ng leadership, which is production. It's based on results, di ba? In this level, people follow the leader because of what the leader was able to do for the organization, for the department, diba? So in other words, because of the leader, na-achieve ng team namin yung goals namin, no? Or because of the leader, na-address namin yung isang bottleneck sa process na matagal na namin talagang burden, no? Because of the leader, nakapag-launch kami on time ng isang programa. And when that happens, lumalakas talaga yung bond, no? So you'll see here, no, from the level of permission production, it's like also parang building a momentum. It's like the story of a new leader plugged into a team, no? Diba? So from position to permission, and then pupunta tayo ngayon dun sa production. Actually, this is good, no? In fact, there's no good and bad dito sa sa levels na to. I guess masasabi lang natin na bad if a person does not move up dun sa different levels. Pero these are just realities, no? So after production, what comes next kaya? Diba? So after production comes people development naman, and this is based on reproduction of the leader. Diba? In other words, no, yung leader in this level was able to pass on his skills to the members of the team. Diba? Pagka nagawa niya yun, the people now appreciate the leader more. Tumataas yung appreciation, and they follow the leader because of what the leader has done for them personally. So it's no longer about the team goals or company goals, but what the leader was able to do for his team members personally, diba? Whether it's for work, for the family, ano ba yun? Diba? Like, until now, I'm very thankful to my boss who really showed me a very good example, no, of how he manages his household, diba? Ito talaga example. Never niya ako binigyan ng payo na, alam mo, Ryan, dapat ganito, ganyan. Never. But he just lived consistently yung kanyang mga standards niya when it comes to living a simple life, inspiring his children to always strive to work hard, diba? So all of that, ginawa niya yun sa akin personally. In fact, I don't know if he did it intentionally or not, but he just continued to live his good example. And because I accepted him as my leader, nagkaroon yun ng impact sa akin. Diba? So that's people development. And the highest level of leadership, no, aptly called pinnacle, ito na yung respect. This is based on respect, and people follow the leader here because of what the leader stands for. Diba? So that's how a person will develop yung sarili niyang leadership, how to be a better leader. Pagka nagkaroon siya ng awareness of these 5 levels, diba? We've all been hearing situational leadership, And madalas ang paliwanag lang sa atin sa situational leadership, if the temperament of your team member is like this, talk to him like this. If he's a high D, then give him a challenging task, 'di ba? If he's, 'di ba, something like that, 'di ba? Pumapasok na lang yung behavioral analysis using DISC, no. So ganun. But there's also this aspect, no. Now, when you talk about situational leadership, we have to realize, as far as my team members are concerned, as far as my relationship with my team members is concerned, at what level am I now? Diba? Am I still at the position level where they just relate to me because nagkataon I'm their boss?
Because they're scared of me, so they will just
Oo.
follow me.
Diba? Q4 na, performance appraisal na, diba? Dahil ba doon? Diba? Or am I at that level na alam ko, even if I'm not their boss, my relationship with them is strong kasi we see eye to eye on certain matters. Diba? Or am I at the level na meron na kaming na-achieve as a team eh. Diba? So, a leader's response, no, to his team members should vary depending on the leadership level that he's in. And ang reality dito, Chris and Ken, no, for each member of the team, a leader may be at different levels. Diba? Meaning, if I've been working in my team for the last 5 or 8 years, it's possible na I'm already at the level of people development, no, with my old time teammates. But with a newly hired, bagong pasok sa team, I'm just at level 1. So that's also an application of what we call situational leadership, diba? It's an awareness na kailangan alam natin, nasaan ba akong level? And the key here, ang makakapag-determine talaga, no, kung nasa ang level na ng leadership ang isang leader is not the thoughts or opinions, no matter how honest, no? But it's not just the leader's thoughts and opinions. Kailangan malaman din natin, as far as the team members are concerned, from their point of view, at what level is your leader at? Diba? Do you see your leader as a positional leader? Or do you value your relationship already with your leader? Or do you trust your leader na siya yung magde-deliver talaga ng results? Diba? Kasi yung relationship, yung dynamics within the team will be greatly impacted by the different levels ng leadership that a leader has with a teammate. Diba? So, very important yan. Go ahead, Chris.
You know the concept of empowerment in the organization. I keep on telling people these are two things. Wait, personal empowerment is different from empowerment in the organization. When you say personal empowerment, so you can actually articulate and voice your opinion. Okay. And then you can act the way you want. So that's personal empowerment. Empowerment in the workplace actually serves the organizational hierarchy. Okay, kasi if the team members, or let's just say the staff, okay, they actually are confident, okay, and then they are in a safe environment, okay, and then they actually can push themselves and are more motivated. So actually they can be your extension kasi they can be replicants of your work. So
True.
so that's why that's the concept of empowerment in the workplace. Okay, so that's why leaders they actually go through all these levels that you've said because they need to, well, alam naman natin pag organization, they need to be to create results, and the results can be profits, okay, if you're in sales, or if you're in support, you can create savings for the company. So that's the push and pull scenario in an organization. So kaya i-differentiate lang natin why why we have leaders in the organization, and why leaders in the organization have to know this 5 P's nga ito, di ba? This is what you call the 5 P's of leadership.
Right, right. Mm-mm.
Oo.
And alam mo, we have a leadership assessment program at the John Maxwell team, no, na will really enable, no, the leader to find out ano ba yung tingin ng members ng team ko about me. Ano ba yung tingin ng fellow leaders ko, my peers, no? Where do they see me, no? And makikita rin in that leader assessment program, what about my immediate superior naman, di ba? Even ako as a leader, for example, meron din akong leader also above me, right?
Mhm.
I report to someone. What does that person think about me as I relate to my team? Do I exhibit the behaviors na para masabing I'm at the level of position, or I'm successfully exhibiting the behaviors para masabing graduate na ako sa level na yan and I'm already going to permission or production? Or am I able to develop other leaders from within my team?
Mhm.
So we're able to come up with that assessment. And alam mo, pagka nalaman ng isang leader kung nasaan siya, mag-iiba yung tempo, no, ng how he operates, how he relates with other members of the team, diba? So it's a very powerful tool, diba? It's an online exam, no, 64 attributes yung nire-rate doon. And after that, may kasama ng coaching, no. So it's a very powerful tool that has helped a lot of companies worldwide, no.
Yes. So, Brian, do you have next slides, or is
Yeah.
this your
This talks about naman, kanina ito pinag-uusapan natin, diba, how to be a better leader in general. So it's an awareness, no, of where you are in these 5 levels and acting accordingly. Ngayon pagdating naman sa decision making, I don't know if you've seen this movie, no, but recently it's been showing up on Netflix as one of the top movies.
Tempted nga ako i-click yan eh.
Yeah, I like this movie because it really talks about decision, no. Just a quick summary. So here's Sully, a long time commercial aircraft pilot, no. Tapos while he was flying, biglang something went wrong dun sa aeroplano, di ba? And then he had to make a decision, di ba? Whether continue flying pa ba para makapag-emergency landing siya sa lupa, or take the chance to do an emergency landing in the water. Diba? And to cut the long story short, he landed on water. Everyone was saved. Everyone was happy except for the company and the people handling the insurance of the aircraft. Diba? They were not happy because it was a very significant claim, and they were sort of saying na, alam mo, Sally, parang mali yung decision mo. And they went through simulation after simulation after simulation. Nakikita nila, alam mo, if you had just waited a few more seconds, you could have landed safely on land without causing any damage on the aircraft. Diba? So yun yung sinasabi sa kanya. And si Sully, no, several nights sleepless, ganyan. And at one time he was talking to his friend, sabi niya, 40 years of, was it 40 years? I don't remember exactly how many years. Pero sabi niya, 40 years of flying. And now as I'm about to retire, it all comes down to this. Na sinasabi nila, I made a wrong decision. Diba? But I don't want to spoil. Basta...
Spoilers!
Spoiler. Well, this is an old movie, so siguro meron akong license to spoil. No? Because I really want to deliver the lesson of the movie.
So what's the lesson of the movie?
All right. Lesson of the movie is this. Siguro additional, ito, true to life story, diba? True to life story. Si John Maxwell is a very well-traveled speaker, diba? And Nakasakay siya sa eroplano, nung palanding na sila, they were really very thankful. Sabi niya, wow, what an uneventful flight. Wala masyadong turbulence, di ba? And alam mo yung sabi nila, parang nabate. Di ba? Parang nabate. So when they were about to land, biglang may malakas na gush of wind that sort of slammed their aircraft to the runway. Di ba? Pero the pilot was really good enough. Ang ginawa ni pilot, pagkatama nung kasi the wheels were already out. They were about to land, no? Pagtama nung aircraft dun sa runway, hinatak niya ulit pataas, di ba? So lumipad ulit yung aeroplano. Everyone in the airplane were super scared, di ba? Takot talaga. And ikot-ikot yung aeroplano and then finally found the parang good rhythm, good timing. The runway was clear and then they landed, di ba? And sa sobrang tuwa ni si John Maxwell is really a very colorful storyteller. No, sabi niya sa sobrang tuwa niya, even kissed the tarmac. No? Sinabi niya, kinausap niya yung pilot, wow, that was amazing. Sabi niya, how did you do that? I mean, in a split second, you came up with a very good decision to fly up, sabi niya. Di ba? Ang una sabi ng pilot, well, there's a lot more room to make mistakes up in the air than there is on the ground. But I didn't make that decision at the time that our aircraft hit the runway. I made that decision 20 years ago pa. Diba? Now, when that happens, ito ang gagawin ko. Yun yung magiging response ko. No? So, lesson, no? Katulad din kay Sully, ganun din yung nangyari. So many years of training that equipped him to make the right decision at a very, very critical time. No? So, ano ba yung mga decisions made? No? There are different kinds of decisions that a person can and must do. Right? And when a person steps into leadership, kailangan meron na siyang mga decision na nagawa even before he steps into leadership. And una-una na doon, ano ba yung kanyang vision? How does he see himself as a leader? Diba? It's something that he should be able to decide on. Right? And related to vision is intention. Diba? When I become a leader, what kind of leader will I be? What kind of impact do I want to have on the people that I will lead? Diba? And if those are my intentions, no? If those are my intentions, are they aligned also with my values, things that are important to me, things that I want to achieve, things that I want to avoid, things that I want to keep? Diba? Are they aligned with my values? Kailangan, ito mga decision na to, sabi ko nga, a person must be able to make even before he steps into leadership, no? A leadership role. When he makes decisions on these items, what is my vision? What is my intention for me, myself, the people that I will lead, the organization that we're going to impact, our customers, diba? These are all intentions, but these are actually decisions, no? Unfortunately for some, they miss making decisions on these two items. And pag nandun na sila sa role, that's when they realize na yung actions pala natin, yung mga decisions pala natin will impact these people a certain way. No, they don't realize the magnitude of yung impact ng mga decisions nila na sometimes I'd be right, sometimes I'd be wrong. Sometimes, very simple decision na lang sana if they ask themselves a question na, if I make this decision, what kind of values will it reflect? Or if I make this decision, is it going to be aligned with my personal values? Diba?
So one of the skills of a leader must be introspective because they have to, as you said, okay, so there are leaders, you see, they seem to make decisions fast, but the secret is they've thought of that problem beforehand. Maybe maybe they've thought of it, okay, maybe because of reflection or meditation. And then sinabi niya, when this happens, this is what I'll do. Ganon. So that's why they can actually make decisions faster than others kasi maybe they talk to themselves, maybe they devote a certain time to reflect, and maybe
Right.
they write their thoughts in a journal, or they have some kind of
Correct.
activity that makes them do introspection. So
Mm-hmm.
kasi yung iba kasi nagtatanong, how can you be a more decisive leader? Okay, so you have to train yourself. Okay, you can be introspective, you can also talk to others how they got to that, how they can, about certain things. Okay, like paano mo ba ginawa yung ganito ka sa situation na to, something like
Correct.
that.
Right. Right. And alam mo yung tendency to miss these things, I've observed they sort of come from a scenario where a leader does not really um, see yung laki ng impact na meron yung decision niya. Or in other words, nami-minimize niya yung sarili niyang role, nami-minimize niya yung kumbaga parang implications no ng mga decisions that he makes no. As you can tell, no, being a leader is a big responsibility. No, we're not just responsible for ourselves, or not just responsible for the people who report directly to us,
Yes.
right? And sometimes, no, even people who are so far from us, no, are affected not just by our actions or our decisions, but even ano lang, whatever it is that we say or do will have an impact on other people who recognize us as leaders. Diba? So, the sooner that a person realizes na ako pala, I'm also a leader, no? When the person realizes that, and when he realizes that he needs to um, grow his leadership ability, di ba? Mas maganda yung yung impact nung magiging mga decision niya. Kasi makikita niya na my decisions have far-reaching impact, and therefore they have to be aligned with my values, what I think is important, what I want to happen,
Mhm.
'di ba? Walang walang random no. Um, 'Di ba? Palagi yung sinasabi parang I think we've heard so many times in the past no na sinasabi ni Steve Jobs, we cannot connect the dots looking forward, but it's easy to connect them looking backwards, no? After you've made so many decisions, then you will realize when you look back, makikita mo, kaya pala those decisions were important back then.
Mhm.
Katulad nung training na na yung ginawa natin sa story natin naman ng mga aircraft pilots, no. And that actually brings me to the third point, which is repetition, no. After making a decision based on intention, kailangan maging consistent din yung leader in living out whatever it is that he said he will do, whatever kind of person that he will be in order to achieve yung kanyang vision, in order to be the person that he intends to be, to make the impact that he wants to have on other people. It cannot be something na gagawin niya lang when it's already critical. Diba? It has to be a decision na consistently ginagawa niya. And that's how people improve. Diba? When they do things repeatedly.
And with consistency kasi, that's how people learn to trust you. Kasi they know that, you're consistent with your values, and then what you actually practice, what you preach.
That's right. That's true. No? And mahirap pag pag sabi nga naman nila, totoo naman, and I agree, there has to be a first time for everything. But it doesn't have to be the last time, whatever it is that you do. Di ba? Kasi, I mean, like in your case now, this is your 107th episode. And I'm sure this, from comparing your first episode to your 107th episode, you see a very big improvement to the way you facilitate the webinars, diba? Because you've been doing it consistently, diba? And syempre, because you've been doing it consistently, your credibility is also rising up, diba?
Well, I think we've been doing the same flavor kami ni Ken. Makulit pa rin kami.
But chill lang, chill lang. We get to know that when we guest, of course, our friends also and certain professionals in the field. Pero minsan, first time, di ba, minsan kakabahan ka talaga, di ba? So at least, we do our best na chill lang.
Yeah, yeah.
Fun
That's
lang, di ba?
actually great. And the more you do it, the bigger the following, the bigger the impact that you're making on other people then, di ba?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yun. So, yeah. And after, syempre, after repetition, there are also some decisions that will, syempre, lead to either a reaction or an action, di ba? Some decisions kasi are actually decisions to delegate, for example, or decisions that other people will act on. People just wait for our decisions and then they will do the rest. But others naman are decisions that we have to make and then tayo din ang kailangan na gumawa. Di ba? If you think about it, decisions are actually turning points, right? And we have to just really make sure that we're headed towards the right direction since we're making a turning point, no. It's like parang if you picture yourself running in the highway, diba? And then there's a fork, you have to choose between going left or going right, diba? And for if you're just trying to picture this, no, seems like a very serene picture, no, parang very peaceful when you see a fork on the road. But actually, for the person who's driving, medyo panic mode yun. Ano ba? Kakaliwa, kakanan ba ako? Or should I stop and run the risk of getting hit from behind? Diba? Ang importante talaga, we know the direction that we're going. And kapag nagawa na natin yung decision na yun, the only test that you have to make is, are we going in that direction? Diba? Are we going in that direction? I remember a story in the late 1970s daw. It was a time in the US, no, na yung banking industry was about to be deregulated. And there are big banks, and in fact, this one bank, Wells Fargo, is already here in the Philippines, no. But back in the late 1970s, they were really at a loss. Ano ba mangyayari pagka nag-deregulate? They didn't know what will happen. They didn't know when it will happen. Okay? And ang sabi lang ng CEO nila, teka. Ang importante lang naman talaga, our company should be well run, well managed, di ba? Para whatever it is that will happen, there's a lot of uncertainty kasi hindi nila alam what will happen, no? Whatever happens, kailangan well managed yung banko natin. So what they did was they hired the best bank executives. Sa tao lang sila talaga. Pumili sila ng mga tao na will run the bank well. Para pag dumating uncertainty, they didn't know what was going to happen, but at least they knew that they had good people on board who will run the bank well. So because they had that clear idea lang, no, now whatever happens, we have to rely on our people to respond to the impact or the implications of the deregulation. So that's what they did. And until now, they're still running, right? So that's a very important piece when it comes to making decisions. We have to realize there's a bigger picture. Where will this decision lead us?
I have like a comment
Right.
there. So I was just talking to a friend the other day. Ito Ken, okay, this relates to people that you attract. That's why sometimes it's still it's you need to Marie Kondo your friends. So kasi sometimes also with the way you feel about things, yung stress level mo, mental state mo, you have to be conscious of that. Kasi when you are at a certain, if you're unbalanced, so you attract, alam mo yon, there's no science to it, but when you're unbalanced, when you're not taking care of yourself, so you're depressed and then your mental health is unbalanced, and then you attract the wrong people. So that's one. We've been talking about that. So it's important also that you take care of yourself. And then the second principle is So you've attracted those people. It's important to Marie Kondo now, the people around you. Kasi it's just going to replicate. Okay, you'll keep on attracting those kinds of people. So, yun lang yung just to when you're in recruitment, okay, sometimes, okay, you don't know. I mean, people think there's a science to recruitment, okay, so that's what HR is. But if you're the leader, sometimes I have this paradigm. I have to be of like, to have positive vibes so that I attract the right person. Yun.
Right, that's
So
right.
So
That's a
there's no
good,
science to it. There's no science to it. It's actually okay. It violates all the HR principles. Okay, but what I just do is I try to take care of myself. I try to lead a balanced life so that the right people, whether it's a friend or people I'm trying to recruit, I attract them. Law of attraction.
That's good. That's good. I also believe in the law of attraction, no? And naalala ko lang tuloy, no, Chris and Ken, naalala ko lang. There's this great insurance professional, no? Although in the US, no? Pero yung impact niya medyo lumaki na lumaki talaga. Kasi he really started from a very simple life and then I realized niya na if I just lead myself, magiging maganda talaga yung impact ng business ko, not just to me, but also to my customers. And he's very famous for saying this. Sabi niya, you will be the same person you are 5 years from now, if not for, number one, the books you read, and number two, the people that you meet. Diba? So sabi niya, be very choosy dun sa books you read and the people that you meet because 5 years from now, you will be either the same or changed, better or worse, because of the choices that you made along those lines, di ba? So yun.
Yeah.
So
Maganda yan.
Siguro, Chris,
Mm.
I could add something for our viewers then. So siguro for our viewers, tingnan nyo lang to. We're speaking about this topic, about your environment, certain things that influence your decisions, diba? Ganda eh. So ulitin lang natin ulit. Most likely there are friends or family members in your circle that are either positive or negative. Let's work with the negative. Mas madali natin mapansin yan. Pero sometimes it's hard to cull or to cut certain ties in our lives. Tama. Pero if you think about it, okay? Sabi nga ni Rendon Labrador, minsan maraming natuwa, maraming naghalit sa statement na yun, pati pamilya iwan, di ba, focus lang sa goal, di ba? That's a very intriguing statement. Pero siguro one thing that we could look at sa pinag-uusapan natin ngayon is you have control over your environment. Always believe that you have control because you have. Okay? Yung mo sabihin na parang it's out of my hands. Hindi ko pwede iwanan to eh. Ganun. No, you have a choice. Diba? And the question is, how will you make that choice? Tama? And yun yung magandang topic natin ngayon, leadership. Because leadership is not about just leading people. It's also about leading yourself. Right? So, yeah, ganda ng topic natin ngayon lang. Just wanted to just throw it out there.
Well, you can't be a good leader if you cannot self-manage, okay? Because you have to, you're the responsible, you have to take care of other people. So you should be able to take care of yourself. Yun.
Totally agree. Yeah. Great wisdom there, no, Chris and Ken. Kailangan talaga. Leadership starts with, being able to lead yourself. And when you're able to lead yourself, then other people will be happy to accept your leadership as well.
So that's where you get quote unquote a follower kasi parang uy bibilib sila sa iyo, paano kaya niya nagagawa yun, di ba? So there.
Totoo yun. Yan. Moving on. Okay tayo?
Mhm.
Hang on. Oh, sorry. Okay. sabi dito, decision continuum, no?
Those are your
Actually,
kids?
no. I just
Uh,
got this from Unsplash, and in fact, I have an attribution here. It's just not too, easy to read, but it's a photo by, I think it's Steven Liber. Sorry, but it's from Unsplash. No, it's a photo from Unsplash, and I apologize. I meant to change the title of this slide to "What do you want to be?"
okay.
No?
What leader would
So,
you want to be?
oo, 'di ba? So, sorry, hindi ko napalitan. But imagine niyo na lang, nakikita niyo ngayon, what do you want to be instead of this very, a vague term na decision continuum. So, what do you want to be? When we ask children what they want to be, well, some of them will say they want to be superheroes, but some of them will say things like they want to be a fireman, they want to be a doctor, di ba? They want to be a farmer, they want to be politician, president of the Philippines, di ba? So, in one of our recent meetings dito sa John Maxwell team, napag-usapan namin yung question na yun eh. Na sabi niya, when we ask children, no, we ask them, what do you want to be? They will answer things like ganon, yung mga different occupations na yun. And our resource speaker back then, a very, very profound person, no, sabi niya, pagka siya daw nagtanong ng ganon sa mga bata, tapos sinagot siya ng ganon, fireman, doctor, policeman, lawyer, etc. So sabi niya, no. Sabi niya, that's what you want to do.
Mhm.
That's what you want to do. But what do you want to be? That's a different question. Di ba? What do you want to be? Mas importante kasi yung no? Yung sagot natin dun sa question na, what do you want to be? Meaning, number one, it's different from what you want to do, di ba? Kasi yung what you want to do, it will be your occupation. Ito yung magiging business, trabaho, profession, etc., etc. But what you want to be is actually something that will represent again, no, your values. Will you be a person of integrity? Will you be a person of charity who helps other people? Diba? Will you be a person of excellence who always tries to exceed other people's expectations? Diba? Are you going to be that kind of person who will try to do whatever it is that you can para ipunin yung resources ng mga mas blessed na tao, tapos ipapasa mo dun sa mga less blessed na tao? Are you going to be that kind of person? And whatever answer it is that you will give to that question, no, yung what do you want to be, it will help you in any field that you choose, di ba? Whether it's becoming a basketball player, artista, director, di ba? If you're clear about what you want to be, or maybe mas clear you who you want to be, what kind of person you want to become, it'll be very fundamental, no, to help you find where you will be successful in. So again, it's another area of decision na yun nga, sabi nga ni Ken kanina, di ba, we can choose, we can decide now kung ano ba yung sagot natin dito sa tanong na to. And if we are already leaders and we're facing this question for the first time, it's really good to answer them. If we're emerging leaders, trying to answer this question for the first time will be really good then, no? Kung we start answering this question. Ayun. So, if you'll excuse me for a while, no, let me just stop sharing so that I can put up the proper slide for this.
Yung ikaw Ken, paano mo sinagot yung tanong nun nung bata ka? What do you want to be?
Medyo tricky yan eh. Kasi, what do I want to be? Meron ding question. Ito yung mga favorite kong laro sa linguistics na to eh. What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Tapos dagdagan pa natin, what do you really want to be? Changes the dynamic of it. Diba? Kasi minsan
True.
parang inisip mo na, parang what do you want to be? I want to be an astronaut. Tapos, what do you really want to be? Biglang mag-change ka agad yung Oo nga, no? Teka lang, I want to be, hindi na lang pala. Di ba? Di ba? May ganun eh. Pero probably, it took me around, like 25 years or like, I think, yeah, 25, 27 years of my life before I knew what I wanted to be. Pero it took me like 30 plus years to know who I wanted to be. Tindi, no?
Okay. So intrigued ko ano yung sagot dun sa mga questions na yun.
Yeah.
Well, my simple answer was actually the funny thing is when I was a kid, I was such a bully, okay, when I was a kid. So I actually answered the question. I wanted to rule the world. Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
world
I want
domination.
oh, actually hindi ko pa kasi sinagot siya ng one sentence. Sinabi ko lang rule the world. Ganon. Parang ganon. So, and then, yung college ako, yun na yun, medyo nag-evolve na yung vocabulary ko, world domination. But seriously, I wanted to teach people, okay? Teach people the right way, okay? So I wanted to be a teacher, but it's not yung elementary, it's not yung educational. It's like to train people, to change mindsets, etc. That's why that's why I went to HR.
Very good choice.
Mm. And it took me nga a long time to realize I was better in HR than in the creative arts. Kasi when I entered the workforce, I was in advertising, I was a copywriter. Tapos I shifted to HR. 2003, I was in my early 30s. So we're ruling the world, Ken, because of radio. Okay, Brian, you were saying?
Yeah, one webinar at a time, you're ruling the world. No? Yeah, so actually, when it comes to being a better leader, no, sabi ko nga kanina, the anchor that we have there are the 5 levels of leadership. Know where you are and work on going up the different levels, no, from position to permission to production, reproduction, and then reaching the pinnacle. No, there are steps na pwede mo talagang kunin, sundin, no? May mga hakbang na pwede talagang sundan para mag-groom mo yung sarili mo, no, as a leader, no? Ang importante lang talaga yung self-awareness kung nasaan ka and ano ba yung next na level? What does it take to be at the next level if you want to be a better leader, no? And then of course pinag-usapan din natin yung how to be more decisive, no? So we have to have an anchor, and that's always going to be a vision and an intention na matagal na nating sinet. And based on all of those things, what are the things na ginagawa natin on a daily basis, 'di ba? Sabi nga ni John Maxwell, sabi niya, the secret of your success lies in your daily agenda. So you are what you do every day, right? No, and ayun, let's not also forget lang na ito very important, no, na we also look at the person that we are becoming, no, not just at the positions that we start to assume, diba? Not just the titles that we earn, but also the kind of person that we are. Kasi ultimately, that's what will spell the difference between our effectiveness as a leader, no? Kung ano ba talaga yung what do I stand for, diba? And what you stand for, yun din yung will urge people to follow you. So it's really it really goes back to you, like Ken said earlier, no, lead yourself first, and then you'll be able to effectively lead others. So yeah,
Yes?
that's actually what I prepared about the topic. No, of course, very happy to answer if there are any questions at this point. I just really want to thank you, no, for making it possible to deliver our message, because we know that a lot of people are really making their growth a priority. Maybe they don't know where to look, but if they will just try to look at the right places, they will find many opportunities to grow themselves. And yeah. Recently, I just started a free leadership newsletter that people can sign up for. When they just scan this QR code or go to the website down there. So really happy to be learning about leadership alongside a lot of our friends. So if they want to catch itong mga pinag-uusapan natin, na parang kumbaga medyo may mas thorough na discussion along with all the research that we have, they can sign up for our free monthly leadership newsletters. Yeah.
Yeah, so they can just so it's here. Okay, so they can just scan the code.
Right.
So guys, okay, so we'd like to acknowledge people who are, watching us, Ryan. Okay, so they've been with us, okay, since we went live stream.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have Cherry May. Okay, she's been actually patronizing our webinars. And then we have Sarah Jane Santillan. So good evening. Okay, we have Ling Ling Matan. Escolano, and of course we have a very good friend, Shell Castillo, June Fajardo, and Jonna Nina Moreno. So good evening, guys. Okay, thank you for being with us. Okay, despite your busy day. So
good evening.
Yeah, this was a good discussion. So I guess they don't have any questions, but I have a question. Okay, so maybe you can stop your screen share, Ryan. But I have a question. Okay, so because we've been talking about leadership, how to develop yourself, but between the staff or between the team members and the leader, how can they improve their relationship? Or how can they keep the relationship healthy?
That's a very good question. And, in fact, that's a question that we need to answer every day. For me, I think there are some things that are very important. Una na dyan will be honesty. Of course, we know that honesty is the basis of trust, and if there's trust between a leader and a subordinate or a team member, they'll go a long way, and para makadagdag dun sa trust, they should also be able to allow each other to express their hopes, like what they're hopeful for. Sometimes these will come in the form of questions, suggestions, diba? Or ideas, diba? When these things come, more ang tawag dito, more on the leader na dapat siya yung makasense na pag may tinatanong yung member ng team, whether kami lang magkausap or buong team kami magkausap, is this a hope na ine-express niya? Alam mo, kasi yung hope, it's also like a building block of of goals, a building block of resilience, a building block of happy anticipation, di ba? When a person starts to express hope, kailangan i-allow nyo na i-welcome nyo yung mga ganung thoughts instead of suppressing it, kasi in the absence of hope in a conversation or in a relationship, people start to parang settle for whatever is there. Diba? Parang, sige, okay, ganyan na eh. Diba? They stop thinking big. Diba? And third item siguro na I think is also a key ingredient will be yung psychological safety na mararamdaman both ni leader and ng team member, diba? Kasi syempre leaders, we have to admit na yung mga leaders, they don't know everything. They're not capable of doing everything. They're also learning, diba? Especially since this is something that was not taught in school, diba? Hindi naman talaga to tinuro, A lot of first-time leaders, they struggle with, finding out ano pa talaga yung kailangan kong gawin, diba? And if they were appointed into a position of leadership because they displayed excellence in performing certain technical skills, but nothing else. Meaning yung interpersonal skills, etc. Doon medyo mahirapan sila. So kailangan meron yung psychological safety both for the leaders and the team members. And when that psychological safety is present, that's when people start to think big, they take risks, they become open to learning, feedback. Alam natin, all of these things, they make a healthy working relationship, diba, Miss Chris?
Yeah, so that's when they, start doing bigger things and getting more ambitious, and they fly. Okay, kasi
Right.
there's like a mutual there's a sense of mutual admiration, mutual respect, and this is
Yes.
the ideal situation that we have. Okay, so how about you, Ken? How can the team members and the boss, how can they improve their relationship?
Una, transparent. Ang tawag dito, ano yung term ko dito? Authentic. Be authentic. I mean, most of the time, we always work with judgments ng ibang tao sa atin. On our actions, parang pwede tayo magkamali. What if it's perfectly fine to commit a mistake? Would you be more free to make better decisions? Again, think about it. So, when working with people, paano ma-improve natin yung communication, yung relationship natin with our bosses. Minsan kasi, ito yung mga sitwasyon minsan natatakot tayo sa mga boss natin. Kasi meron silang quote-unquote frame na very authoritative sila. Tayo, personality natin, hindi tayo non-confrontationalist tayo. Yeah? Ayaw natin lumaban or ayaw natin ng conflict, di ba? So, again, starts with being open, being able to ask better questions. Yan. So, siguro ang main point na sinasabi ko dito is communication. Work with how you communicate, okay? And you get different and better results. Yun lang. Kasi almost all the leaders that I see, since leadership and top yan, almost all the leaders that I see are good with communication.
Okay, so good points. Okay, so my own take on this one. Okay, so if you're the leader, you have to ask questions. Okay, kasi this one, if you ask questions, you get to probe. Okay, and then you get the context of why people are behaving this way. Okay, or saying these things. Okay, so you have to ask questions. Kasi madaming angles yan So there are many angles. So it's better to ask questions. For the team members, okay, if you are asked questions, don't be defensive. Yun lang yun. Kasi usually pag tinatanong ng question, defensive na, di ba? Parang si sir, nangungulit na naman, kinukulit ako, di ba? So both sides, they actually have to have an open mind, okay? And then they must welcome each other. Kasi kung hindi natin gusto if they're not welcoming of each other, then there's always conflict. Kasi sarado ka na doon sa leader mo, yung leader naman sarado na sa'yo. So you have to keep the communication lines open, and you have to accept that you have to work together. So that's the more simple approach to it. And it also takes a little bit of humility. I hear a lot of when you go to certain fora, okay, they always rant against their bosses, okay? So actually, guys, you're being very arrogant, okay? Because when you are employed to a company, you actually allow yourself to be subjects. Kasi employee ka nga, so you're receiving a certain amount. So you've allowed yourself to be controlled. So that's the reality of it, okay? So you can only be arrogant if you're your own boss. Kasi you control everything na nga. So you have that luxury. It's a luxury actually. So yun lang. So the moment you allow yourself to be an employee, you have ceded your right Okay, you have to have humility, and only with if you're iba naman yung false humility, meaning you accept that you are not in control of everything. You're not the boss, and you have to follow somebody. For leaders with humility, you actually accept that you're not perfect. So you're open to learn from other people, from your team members, okay, and from your fellow leaders in the organization. So sa akin, yun lang yun, okay? Because nobody's perfect, okay? And we shouldn't criticize each other. So if we must work together, we have to work together. Yun. So it's
Beautifully
so
said.
simple,
Yeah.
di ba?
Mhm.
And then, kasi ako, I actually, not just with communication, but you have to accept and you have to uphold each other's self-esteem. Huwag kayong magtirahan, di ba? Huwag kayo criticize ng criticize. Besides, when you criticize, you're not really solving the problem and you're not digging deeper into the problem.
True.
Oh, yeah. So okay, so Ryan, okay, so aside from your newsletter, okay, what other webinars are we expecting from you?
Well, actually, the webinars that I'll be holding this October, uh, they're not one-off webinars, no.
Mhm.
We call them mastermind groups or mastermind training. We'll be talking about two main topics, and they're both based on the books of John Maxwell. I don't know if it's okay to
Sure.
share just one slide. All right. So here they are, no? So number one, it's going to be about the 15 invaluable laws of growth. So pinag-uusapan dito talagang personal growth, personal development that will make everyone, no, a more effective, individual contributor and a people manager as well. And also becoming a person of influence is something that will help people who are trying to move from being an individual contributor to a people manager role or a leadership position. So what we do here in our mastermind groups is we gather, no, maximum of 12, no, actually 10 to 12 people, no, and we study the book together. And what we do is every week, whatever it is that we learn, we try to apply in our day-to-day lives, and then we come back together again and find out kung kumusta na, what did you apply dun sa mga napag-usapan natin last week, and then we have a next chapter or next set of chapters that will be discussed during that following week. So this actually follows yung sinabi natin kanina, no, na you will be the same person that you are 5 years from now, if not for the books that you read and the people that you meet. Because here we will be meeting growth-minded individuals, no, as their classmates, no, learning together, no. So it's not going to be webinar where there's just one person talking, no, but it's going to be a very dynamic discussion among all the members of the group, no. So they will see the details, no, when they visit my website, which is right there, no. They can also scan the QR code or visit the website, which is right there on their screens. Yeah. So yeah.
Those who are fans of John Maxwell, okay, so you can join Ryan's group, okay. You can also connect with Ryan on Facebook.
Right. When they visit this website, they will see there my social media links now. So they'll see my Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Yeah. So very welcome.
Okay. Wow. So anyway, so this has been a productive discussion. Okay, Ryan. So thank you for being our guest this evening. Okay, and then of course time flew by once again. Okay, so we started at 8. It's now 9:30.
Didn't realize it's been an hour and a half.
Yeah. Okay, and then to those who have been watching us, okay, since 8 o'clock, thank you for making time to watch our webinar, and you can post your questions or you can connect with Ryan after this. Okay, so anyway, Ken, how about you? What should we expect from you?
Yeah. For friends that want to really go deeper down the rabbit hole with neurolinguistic programming, hypnosis, yeah, just send me a PM and I'll be glad to hook you up with some stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so leadership development with Ryan, and then you have like NLP, which has something to do with mind setting and mind development. So you have Ken, and of course with HR Shouts and Whispers, we will continue our webinars. In fact, we are creating a series on creating your career path with the most popular jobs now. Okay, so just watch out for that. And we've started last week, okay, with accounting, okay, the last episode. So anyhow, okay, keep on giving us your feedback and keep on writing us on what topics you want us to discuss. And then, well, for now, we'll call it a day finally. And then, okay, so good night, everyone. It's a temporary goodbye.
All right.
Thanks,
Have a good
everyone.
night.
Good night.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye,
bye-bye.
Chris. Bye, Ryan.
Bye, Chris.
Okay.